What are your short and long-term goals? So many applicants stumble on this question in their MBA interviews. How can it be so vexing? Most of you have already written about your goals in your application before interviewing, right? Let's make sure that this isn't a stumbling block for you. My first piece of advice in answering this question is have conviction in your goals. You won't be able to convince anyone else of your goals unless you believe in them yourself. Hopefully, in your application essays or short answers, you wrote about goals that you really believe in. But it's possible that you wrote about them only briefly, and now, faced with the need to expound on them, suddenly you have a crisis of confidence. Well, if that's the case, you may just need to do more homework. Talk to people in your target position and field. Understand how your skills and experiences apply to the job itself. Understand how an MBA is crucial to assuming this position. If you do some basic background research and gain additional color, your answer will feel far more certain or secure. In short, you may have had enough of a story to write 3 or 4 sentences. Now, make sure that you have the depth to talk about your goals for about 2 minutes and answer any questions about them. My second piece of advice, try to get to that 2-minute pithy response, where you don't only answer the question about goals, but give a complete answer with context and goals. You likely won't respond by just saying, I want to join a healthcare startup because. In that kind of answer, we just don't understand whether you have the background to make it possible. Instead, you could give a fuller answer and say, as you can see from my resume, I went to a small college and then joined a boutique bank and a 5-person PE firm as its first analyst. I've gravitated towards smaller environments, and my work in PE has been specialized in healthcare. I've already critically evaluated countless startups, and I want to find a high potential opportunity in a funded healthcare startup where I can support corporate strategy and fundraising. This is the beginning of a much clearer answer because the individual has created a cause and effect relationship between his skills and interests and his goals. He thrives in intimate environments, has exposure to healthcare, has evaluated many startup firms. He just might thrive in corporate strategy at a healthcare startup. My third piece of advice, connected goals. In most interviews, you'll be asked about your short and long-term goals. Those goals need to be linked, but they don't need only the most obvious and directed link. What I mean by that is, our candidate who wants to join a healthcare startup doesn't need to verbally commit to a lifetime in the healthcare startup world. He can't pick something wildly different, but he could say that he wants to become a healthcare VC or grow into an exec at a major healthcare firm or move into government in the healthcare policy sphere or launch his own startup with time. There are many avenues. They just need to be ambitious and connected. When you discuss your long-term goals, you're discussing an ideal for how everything might play out should your short-term goals fully manifest. Goals are among the toughest aspects to nail in interviews. You really need to practice. Through On Track by mbaMission, you'll be able to do a much deeper dive into all of the components of an effective interview. I'll lead you through lessons on strong, narrative-based, and STAR framework answers, and then provide good and not so good examples of how to respond to the most common interview questions. Then you'll have the chance to simulate an interview and record responses to actual questions, which you can review. We provide customized questions for each of the top business schools using questions asked to past applicants, so you can practice the real thing. It's a very powerful tool. Check it out. For more guidance on interviews, take a look at the school-specific interview guides available for free on our website. And check out our video on tackling another common interview question, why our school, coming up next.